Yeah, there are so many kinds of sampling techniques. There are so many kinds of objectives. There are so many kinds of research problems. Okay, but I have tried to narrow down as much as possible, keeping your syllabi in mind and your wavelengths in mind. Okay, so let's begin with that. I will see how the class goes. Basically, I thought for certain units it would be a day. That means one class, 1.5 hours, or for certain units it might go to 2 also, but it all depends with what speed we go ahead, how much problems we have with internet, how many questions and questions you have for me. Okay, it depends on many things, so we will take a call accordingly with our subtopics in the units. Okay, starting with the presentation. They will be given the presentation later, so don't worry, all will be given the PPT. Okay, and for me also it takes a lot of time. Okay, and has taken a lot of time to prepare, to understand. Okay, so don't assume and presume that you will know about it in one go. Okay, you yourself will also have to do some amount of research, fine, to understand it better, and then you can always come back. But what I would tell you all is limit yourselves initially to the data shared by me. Okay, because if you try to go more and more in depth, it is very complicated. It's even complicated for me till date, because I told you all I'm not a research methodology doctorate. I'm not a specialist in research methodology. Okay, but when last time an expert, that expert's notes and PPT also will be shared with you all. When this gentleman, who is a very senior gentleman in the field, taught it, most of our faculty felt that he's tried his level best to come down to your level, but still it was, kind of not meant for your wavelength. So they felt that you can make it much easier. Okay, and that is what I'm giving a try, and I hope I succeed, and I hope you all understand all that I teach you. Okay, we are starting with unit 1. You will have to help me with the scroll down. Okay, okay. Now, students, you all will have to bear with me little. Where the technology is concerned, you all are much better at it than me. Okay, I've come a long way, but if I falter somewhere, excuse me for that. Now, these are the topics which you'll all have the syllabus with you. Okay, especially we had given you the marks breakup, but so I have to again switch. I think so. If there is only, this is through what? This is through. Sorry, I'm not talking to you all. Wi-Fi only, no. So I'll continue. I'll continue over here only. Okay. So let's start with the meaning of research. Uh, in some of the slides, there is nothing much to explain. Most of them are self-explanatory. Okay, only examples will be given. So I'm telling you, this is not only the PPT, this is your notes also. Okay, fine. There is no exam per se of these notes, but you need to understand all this to have a fair, okay, research project at the end of the day. Okay, a fair enough thesis at the end of the day. Fine. Just keep one thing in mind while you are going through this, okay, with me, that okay, from objectives, what is the kind of objective I will be using? From the research, what is the kind of type of research I'll be using? In that, what is the questionnaire I'll be using? What is the sample technique I'll be using? That much you can, kind of do simultaneously, go ahead while doing this. Okay. Oh, fine. It's all trial and error. Don't worry. Let's see how much we can kind of get out of this. Okay. Now starting with the meaning of research. Fine. What is research? I explained to you the other day. Yeah. Collecting data, scientifically, and putting it forth again scientifically, and getting a conclusion out of it. Okay, in short, what is a research all about? So research is a careful and detailed study of a particular problem or concern using scientific method. Fine. Anybody can find out something. Okay, but if you find out and you just keep it as it is, or you how to put it, say you just very haphazardly find things about it, it does not become a research. Okay, research is why a scientific method, because there is introduction in it, there is literature review in it. In research methodology, there is a problem statement, there is sampling techniques, data collection, interpretation, okay, conclusions, solutions come out of it. So it's a method, it's a scientific method. Yeah. Hence, research is a careful and detailed study of a particular problem or concern using scientific method. It's an in-depth analysis of information which creates space for generating new questions, concepts, and understandings. The main objective of research is to explore the unknown and unlock the new possibilities. So it is basically discovering something. Research can even give you an invention. Okay, scientific based experimental research, sometimes it's not done only to discover something. Okay, I hope you all know the meaning between invention and discovery. Yeah, invention is inventing something which is never ever has been there, say on earth. Okay, and discovering is something which was already there existing and you have discovered it. Okay, say nobody else has so far. That is what a good research is all about. Okay, when we go ahead, okay, when we see types of objectives, when we see types of research, everything will fall in place. Fine, that time the meaning of this, or rather this definition, will make more sense to you. But in short, it is an in-depth study, a careful, detailed, in-depth study of a particular problem which we call a gap also. Okay, which is a concern, and you do it scientifically and you put it on record, document it, and that is what research is all about. I hope I have a tendency of going fast. If I'm going fast, then you all can just in the chat box, convey it, and I will request ma'am to just let me know that I'm going fast. Okay. Now, what is the objectives of research? Yeah. So what is the purpose? What is the aim? There is always a mission, vision. Whenever you say something, or whenever, whatever you do in life, you have a mission, right? Fine. I want to become this, or I want to reach here, or I want to finish this in this time span. Yeah. Fine. So why do you want to do that? So there is a mission, there is a vision. Okay, so there are aims, there are objectives. Fine. So for the mission, the vision which is there is aims and objectives. So what is objectives of research? The objective of research is to discover answers to questions through the application of scientific procedure. Yeah, now you will say it means a lot, like the meaning, definition. That is what it is all about. Okay, so what is the aim? Is to find out an answer to a question, or to find out a solution to the problem. That's why research problem, which I explained to you all in the first class, our introductory class. Okay, and hence the main aim of research is to find out the truth which is hidden and which has not been discovered as yet. As I told you, most of you all will be discovering facts. Okay, fine. But those who do experiment, the scientists say cloning. Okay, cloning of animals. We have not reached cloning of humans yet, but that is what it is all about, cloning of animals. Now that is a scientific research, and that the solution to that or conclusion to that would be an invention. Fine. But what you all are doing is discovery. Now what is discovery? There are two ways. It is a theoretical or it is an applied kind of research. We will do it as we go ahead. Okay, but in short, the objective of any research is to find out an answer to a question which has been raised, and that has been raised by you through your research and through your research problem or research gap. Sometimes what will happen while teaching is I will have to go through and forth. Okay, like if I explain to you literature of review just now, because I want to make sense about research gap, you again have literature of review. Okay, later on in depth. So there will be a lot of time where there will be repetition from my side while explaining, but the repetition will only be done to make more sense and to correlate things with each other, which I have understood, okay, while studying that how it gets correlated. Okay, fine. Now we will go ahead and simultaneously I will explain. Now some general objectives, those two were the specific, core objectives, that is the aim. But some of the general objectives of research are mentioned as below. to gain familiarity with the phenomenon or to achieve new insights into it. Here there is a further breakdown so as to certain research topics, okay, have certain objectives. Yeah. So to gain familiarity with the phenomenon or achieve new insights into it, like say in our what do you say, faculty, the hospitality faculty example would be, I want to find the types of sugar available in the market. That's familiarity. I just want to find out about something. But I want to find out that, okay, can there be, other than say 6 types of sugars available, can there be a 7th type of sugar also, which I want to see the permutation and combination and do research on that. That will be a new insight. So it can be this what I'm saying is more invention based, or it can be a discovery so as to that the 5 kind of sugars, the origin and the methodology of making it, where did it come from? Maybe till now nobody has done that as a research. People know, those who have made it, they know, those who are making it, producing it, they know, but say it's not put down, documented as a research. So I have a new insight into it. I want to do that. Okay. Another objective could be to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group, like so as to why a particular age group is behaving in a certain manner. We say generation gap. Why do we say generation gap? Why do we say that we were more outdoor, okay, and we have played games and we have enjoyed, and you're all indoor, especially the current younger generation, much more than you all also are all the time indoors with their gadgets. Okay, fine. So I want to find out, let's say children born from this age to this age, okay, fine, why are they so? So either study a particular individual, okay, like if Dr. Rukshana Billimoria has done a certain thing, today she scolded me. Why did she scold me? There can be a full research on it, but it has to be scientifically documented. Okay, generally individual research does not come in, individual product research will come in, but individual human research as such, okay, we are too naive and too small to do that. Yes, but situations can be research, groups can be research. A particular age group visits cafe coffee day, CCD, okay, or in a particular situation a particular group will behave in a certain way. So say there are 2 groups, highly intellectual, not so intellectual, and to test the emotional quotient, okay, both these are kind of exposed to certain things, and how will this behave group and how will this group behave, and say it is found that the not so intellectual quotient, those who don't have a very high intellectual quotient, end up having a high emotional quotient. Generally that is one of the researches I had read, that with intelligence does not come so much in emotions. It is a rare, because they are so intellectual that everything has a practical outlook to it, but the not so intellectual ones have more of an emotional outlook to their, you know, characteristics. So these there are many kinds of research. You can research anything and everything, and what is your objective? So once you know your problem statement, the gap, you need to know what are the objectives you want to study related to the problem statement or related to the gap. Fine. The third one is to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with. Say how many times in a week, okay, a teenager, age group this to this, eats out. Okay. So the trend of eating out, like for us, it was once in a blue moon, Udupi restaurant, okay, or calling for something home. We didn't have this chain of fast food outlets and all that. Okay. So say you want to compare, okay, this particular year born in these years and born in this year, say 2000 to 1900 to, yeah, 2000, and then 2000 to 2010 or 20, and what is the difference, how frequent, like we used to, if I can just tell you point blank, like that only without research, find that obviously as the exposure was less, we ate out less, and this generation eats out more. But say if it is as close as 10 years, 2001 to 10 and 10 to 20, then the research becomes more kind of challenging. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you all simple, easy examples to correlate to the objectives. Okay, fine. And the last one would be to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. Okay, so causal relationship is every action is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, a simple physics statement would go here very well. So what is the cause of a particular action? Okay, fine. So to give an example of cause and relations, it would be, now we will go ahead, I think so, when we do the kinds of research, because you will have to know variables also, dependent and independent variable. Okay, so a causal relationship would be like, I am angry. Okay, I've got angry, but what is the cause of it? So misbehavior on the part of a student made the principal angry. Okay, fine. This is the conclusion I have given you all in the cause and relationship. So what would be the problem statement? Fine, that does. Okay, it problem statement is also a question. Okay, yeah. So does students misbehavior makes the principal angry? Okay, want to study that. Or it can be more specific, does it make principal Dr. Rukshana Billimoria angry? Fine. So there is a relationship with the cause, and there is, so which is the we will go ahead, when we go ahead you all will get confused with independent and dependent variable. But in causal relationship comes two kinds of variables, independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, like the anger, to give you just a gist of it, anger is a dependent variable. It depends on an independent variable, which is misbehavior of the student. Okay, let's see how much we understand when we go ahead. Now, what is an hypothesis does? Okay, again, we'll study hypothesis in depth later. But as I explained to you the other day, the main core structure, I would say, which would be required from you all. Okay, there is something known as a proposal of research. Okay, students, what do you mean by proposal? Proposal is that it's a summary. Abstract comes later, but proposal also can be a summary of what you want to do. When we want to do doctorate, we are supposed to write a summary, and in the summary, the most important thing has to be the topic. It has to be the problem statement next, then the objectives and hypothesis, if any. Okay, fine. These are the four most things, and these have to correlate, and then comes your questionnaire. Okay, which has to simply very strongly correlate to your hypothesis, to your objectives, okay, to your problem statement. Only then you will get a solution or a conclusion. Only then will your research be valid. Now, there are many researches which do not have hypothesis also. Okay, no harm in that, but generally a good research, they say, should have at least one hypothesis, while we have almost 10 to 12 hypotheses also in certain researches. Okay, my research had 6 hypotheses. Fine. So now what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is proving something through your research. Okay, now hypotheses also are of many kinds. Fine, but hypotheses are generally in relation to something. Okay, a probability. So that's also known as a probability test. Okay, we will go further and explain in depth, because there are kinds of hypothesis. There is null hypothesis, there is alternate hypothesis. I don't want to worry you all just now. But say if I give you the same example of let's give another example. Let's take my topic. Okay, as I had told you, marketing strategies for developing tourism in Maharashtra. One of my hypotheses was, okay, that demographic. Okay, now what is demography? Demography is age, income, gender. Okay, so one of the hypotheses was that, does a particular age group, okay, get more affected by the way the marketing is done of the, I'm not framing the hypothesis, I'm telling you the meaning of the hypothesis. Okay, so there is a relationship between age group and selection of a tourist spot. Okay, now a very, 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 what do you say, wide kind of a vague kind of a statement. The tourist spot has to be narrowed down and the age group has to be narrowed down. Okay, so now this is not my thesis. My thesis would have another kind of a hypothesis, but I'm taking the topic and I'm narrowing down my thesis further. Say Kash Plateau. I don't know how many of you all have heard about it. Okay, it's there in somewhere near Pune. Fine. So say an age group of 30 to 50 years. Okay, loves to visit Kash Plateau, or this particular age visits. Now, this is my hypothesis. My research would be Kash Plateau and its marketing strategies, not Maharashtra tourism. Okay, fine. The best thesis, the best research is as much as you can narrow down. Okay. Now, I did my PhD, so my thesis has to be very, very, very vast also, because I should be able to justify, or they should be able to justify the university to give me that doctorate padvi. Okay. So, but for you, I would say, yeah, doctorate topics also can be on very, very, very narrow topics also, but then the in-depth study has to be there for it to be justified. Okay, so the most important, I would say, parts of a thesis are the topic, the problem statement. In fact, the problem statement comes first, then comes the topic. Let me tell you all. I'll explain to you all when we go ahead. Okay, then comes the objectives, and then comes the hypothesis, and the most important thing, the questionnaire should correlate to all this, because only when the questionnaire is based on your hypothesis, your objectives, your problem statement, will you be able to prove something from your research. Okay, so this is about the objectives. There are many, many, many objectives also. Okay, I am, as I told you, I have selected what I want you all to know, how much I want you all to know, how much is required, okay, for you all to understand and do a fair research. Okay, now there are three ways that you can define your research objectives. Okay, exploratory research aims, descriptive aims, and causal aims. As I told you, cause and relationship will come later. So let's go ahead and see what is exploratory. Now, keep one thing in mind. If the objective is exploratory, obviously your research is also exploratory. Okay, so here you can also learn later on. Again, there is going to be exploratory research, so there might be a repetition, but here you are learning the aim. But if it's an exploratory aim, then it's an exploratory research also. Keep that in mind. Okay, the purpose of such a type of market research is to explore the market. Thus, the research objectives are defined accordingly. If the research objective was to find out competition sales, then the market research questionnaire needs to ask questions as follows. As I told you, okay, see, everything in research is important. Okay, but when I say the crux, the heart of research is what is this. Okay, when I told you, again repeating, I will go on repeating this research topic, problem statement, objectives, hypothesis, and the questionnaire. Okay, now there are so many times where a pilot study is done first. Okay, you just have a vague problem in mind, problem statement gap in mind, and you make a questionnaire and you do a pilot study. You don't think of the topic, you don't think of anything, a little about the objective, but you can still fine tune your objectives. Okay, you need not compulsorily kind of say this is my objective also in the beginning. No, you just have a problem statement and you want to see how much your problem statement will make sense, and do you really want to go ahead and waste your time and do research on that? Will it make sense? Will the outcome be worthwhile? So you make a questionnaire and you just say, if you're thinking of a research of 1,500 people and a doctorate, you do it with 50. If you're thinking of 50, then you do it with 5-10%. Okay, and you get answers to that, and then accordingly you decide. When you find something coming out of it, you say, no, this is worth it. Okay, fine, and then you go ahead and you do research. So that's why to make objectives, exploratory objectives, more sense, we have questions put up over here. How many brands are present in the market would be an exploratory research. What are the number of products of each brand? How many dealers are present for each product? What is the average sales per dealer for each product? These are the questions asked only for the competition sales, to find out the competition sales in the market. Okay, all these questions have to be asked. So this is a kind of a questionnaire for finding out. The research objective was to find out competition sales, okay, of the market. This is known as a market study, a market segment, okay, or target market study, that which market should I target. Okay, so for those, these questions have to be asked. Where is the sales more, in urban or rural? What is the quantity purchased per month and sold per month, so on and so forth, to understand the competition sales. So this is an example given to you. You need to explore the, okay, objective is exploratory because you want to explore that particular brand standing in the market, and hence you find out all these things. Okay, now let me tell you, you give two people the same topic, the same research problem, but the questionnaires which might come out from it will be totally different. I mean, the questions which will come out from it and make a questionnaire. Now this is the best part of a human brain. Okay, perception. How do you perceive? Okay, fine. Every brain, every gray matter perceives a certain statement or a sentence in a different way. Fine, that is when questions come. So then it is, no, but I was trying to say this, but you tried to perceive it like that, which is also not wrong. But for now, I am teaching you and I am trying to correlate. So my perception of understanding that is more important. Okay, an example. Fine. So it is very essential. So maybe your mind, some more questions might come or something different might come. It's not wrong if it's correlated and it's proved. Okay, keep that in mind. Thus this, but a research has to be one of its kind. A research is authentic and genuine when it is not repeated. Okay, or it is genuine when it is extended. So say Dr. Rukshana has done this much research and I am taking it further. Fine. So say she did not, in her research, she just explored the marketing strategy. Hers was an exploratory research. She did not suggest marketing strategies, though I had suggested, but I'm giving an example. Okay, so mine would be suggesting marketing strategies for developing tourism in Maharashtra. Okay, fine. Thus, this kind of exploratory research object prepares you. Can you just, 1 second, students, can we do away with this? Is it possible? Can I cross this? No. Then, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So thus this kind of exploratory research objectives prepares you for a quantitative market research process. Okay. Now, quantitative is because how many? Numbers. See, generally in a research, no, numbers play a very important role play. And a quantitative research is, they say it's a much more accurate research if the sampling techniques uses correct. Okay. Qualitative research are more observatory research where the questions are more open-ended, subjective questions. Okay, like how you have, okay, the best example for you all is the papers which you used to write black and white while giving exams, subjective, maybe 2 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks, more number of pages to be filled or more space to be filled. But those were subjective papers. Okay, fine. So that is descriptive. So that is, what do you say? Qualitative. Okay, while what you are giving now is quantitative in the sense MCQs. Okay, so you have to just pick. Now I'm just giving you a very vague example. Fine. So that becomes more subjective. This is more objective. So qualitative and quantitative, something like that. Qualitative is, subjective descriptions. In description also there can be quantitative. I don't want to confuse you all now, but more, open-ended questions where you are asking, express yourself according to you. Okay, what do you feel? Now this cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4. This cannot be Likert scale. This cannot be always good, bad, worst, or very good, likely, not so likely. No, you have to express in your words. Okay, and the analysis of that is again differently done. Okay, fine. So that was about the exploratory objective. Fine. Let's go to descriptive aims. Pretty confusing, let me tell you all. You need to read it twice, thrice, even after explanation to understand. And then maybe you can also ask questions if needed. But do not get confused in the first go. You will have to understand it slowly, slowly. Okay? Now, descriptive research objectives help you find out why an action is being taken. Okay? Not how many. Okay? But why. So why is that particular age group using that particular product? Okay, so thus this is more of a qualitative research objective. Continuing the above example, like I told you, okay, that was exploratory and more of quantitative. This is descriptive and more of qualitative. Why are the dealers promoting that particular product in the locality? Okay, it can be like, I'll give you example of bread. Fine, Wibs and Britannia. Yeah, I am somewhere related to the Wibs family, and I used to always ask my uncle, Britannia bread also is good. Why are people, opting, especially you see all the sandwich wallas across Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, they prefer Wibs. Okay, because it seems the loyalty, okay, to the brand is because they have taken care of these dealers when they had to start the business and did not have any money, and credit was given on. And see, when you are hawkers, you don't have a real credit in the market. You are not able to give anything as per se as, kind of how do you put it financially, a kind of a say, a promise or a documentation. I'm not getting the correct word. Okay, to give to those people and say, okay, मेरे को इतना bread देना रोज, आप एक महीना मैं कमा के जब कमा लूंगा तो आपको वो सारे bread का पैसा दे दूंगा. Now they, a guarantee, a kind of a guarantee. Okay, guarantee documentation or whatever you call, that is one thing. And second thing, they give a very, very good margin. Okay, so they sell the bread at a very cheap cost comparatively to the this is kind of a CSR activity for them. Okay, and that is why all, I don't know about the big vendors, but most of the, okay, average to mediocre vendors prefer Wibs because they feel that they are giving an opportunity to someone to become an entrepreneur and on their living. Okay, so that is what is in one of the ways of looking at why. Now this is a research, isn't it? Now I asked a very simple question and I got two simple answers. Okay, but it can be a full-fledged research, and in that maybe these two might be the answers which you will get for your question. Okay, so why are the customers purchasing or preferring that product? Okay, over here it can be the eating quality, maybe the shelf life, the preservation, or the technique used in preservation without using a lot of preservatives, so it is more organic. It can be anything. Okay, what are the features of the product which attract the customers? Okay, again it can correlate. Okay, fine, purchasing or preferring that product, a sandwich made out of Wibs bread example, and the features of the product can be maybe the whole sandwich also. So it all depends how you want to conduct your research and how wide it is or how narrowed down it is. How is the cost of the product controlled? I gave you an excellent example that the cost of the product is controlled because the raw materials got. I'm giving an answer to this question. Okay, after doing a research, I have got this answer. Now this is descriptive, okay, kind of a study. Fine. Thus, these are more descriptive questions, asking the question of why a customer buys a product. Warrants a long answer. Okay, so as I told you, descriptive answer, because there are many reasons a customer might prefer a product, and each customer's preference will be for a separate reason. Okay, and hence these questions have to be open-ended. Open-ended means, you see those questions in a questionnaire with lines. You're supposed to express. And close-ended is, your MCQs can be close-ended, where you have been given choices. Only these four, select any one. You can't put a fifth one. Okay, those are close-ended questions. Fine. Does designing the market research questionnaire, when the research objective is descriptive, becomes a difficult job? In fact, I would say quantitative study, the only challenge is statistics. Okay, and all the calculations with that, like chi-square, Likert scale, ANOVA. You all don't have to learn that. Don't worry. We had to. Okay, fine. But once you do that, then quantitative studies conclusions and solutions are easily interpreted than descriptive studies. Let me tell you through experience. Okay, like say if in my questionnaire I had 4 descriptive questions out of 25, there was a time when 21 answers came out like this for the pi square, and while this descriptive, I was like, how do you come to a conclusion? Because in a sample of 1,000 people, that description is totally goes haywire. Say 50 would match, only 50, and sometimes certain answers were one of their kind. How does one come to a conclusion or interpret it? It is quite challenging. Okay, so if you ask me, yes, descriptive study is more challenging than an exploratory study. Thus, designing the market research questionnaire when the research objective is descriptive becomes a difficult job. The marketer needs to be as specific as possible so that he gets the correct answers. At the same time, the right questions need to be asked, otherwise there would be a lot of clutter in the market research report. Like, this is the exact word what I was trying to say. I had a lot of clutter. And then believe me, out of the 4 questions, my guide did away with one question which she had selected initially, but towards my final submission, it was like we had to write a note and say that we did not get a proper results from this, and hence we are making this question null and void, which becomes in a very rarest of the rare cases, because you are supposed to do away with all the questions in your pilot study only. Okay, but sometimes in a study of 25 in a doctorate also, 1 or 2 questions you can write off like this by saying that you did not get a logistically correct conclusion. But if you see a vague conclusion, this was it, this was it, this was it. So, okay, fine. It depends on the experts if they want me to go ahead with that question and its conclusion in my final thesis, or they want me to do away with it. Okay, fine. I hope you all understand what is a pilot study, students. Pilot study is something which is done before the final. Like for example, I want to take you all for a tour to Gochis. You all are going, right? You all must have already been informed. Yeah, 17, 18, 19 December is the date for now. Yeah, we'll let you all know which group you all fall in and when you all are going. Now, say you all are going to go, but say as a tour operator, okay, from the college. Uh, by the way, years together, when I was not the principal also, I was the in charge for tours. Okay, so say I'm the in charge for tour, and I need to know what this is all about. It's a new concept, and I'm taking so many students, and traveling and the time and coming back in one day, and is it really worth it? I'm paying the Gochis people so much, all that put together. Okay, I will say no. I cannot take 230, 400 students to, maybe in batches also, but I cannot expose that kind of money in the market. As a principal, I'm answerable if things go wrong. Let me go and see and come if it's worth it. So say I go with my team of 2-3 people who are in charge under me for the tours, and we go and we do a pilot study. Okay, there is a pilot vehicle also. Always when you go for a big tour and there are 5-6 buses convoys, then there is a small vehicle which runs along with that if there is an emergency, because big buses take time. So say if there is an emergency, student is unwell, staff is unwell, you put them in that vehicle, and or sometimes that vehicle has to reach faster than the others to make arrangements over there. It can be anything. So pilot vehicles also are there. The same way pilot study, where you go beforehand, okay, and you find out that in the package what has been, you expose yourself to that. Okay, so whatever the students are going to get, you get that and you experience that, and then you come back and you decide, is it going to be worth so much? Okay, so much paying, or so much time, or so much traveling, or one day, is it comfortable enough? Fine. The same way, a pilot study is, will I really get an outcome, or will this topic work, or will this problem statement work, and will it be worthwhile? Before that, I do a small pilot study. Okay, that is what the pilot study is all about. So we learned exploratory objectives, we learned descriptive objectives, and on the basis of this only, there is exploratory research and there is descriptive research also. These are the main 3, I would say, and that is empirical, which is observation. Okay, I don't think so you all have to go into historical, experimental, ethnographical. There are many kinds of research. Okay, let us stick to these 3. A market research which wants to observe cause and effect, as I told you, a relationship between cause and effect. Cause was misbehavior of the student. Effect was principal angry. Okay. Simple example. Okay. A market research which wants to observe cause and effect is known to have a causal research objective. So if you now know the different reasons that customers are buying a product and you decide to launch a new product of your own, then will it become a causal market research? Like if you introduce a new product. So what will be the effect in the market? This is the more difficult example. Okay. Will the market accept the product or will it reject the same? If the product can be rejected, then what can be the causes? Now, this is more of a marketing example. Uh, the scientific cause and research can, the cause and effect can be, I have a particular concoction, chemical concoction, which always I have done. Okay. And I have got this product. But today I want to add something else and see how is the effervescence or whatever happens to it and what will be the product. So cause is the addition of the additional chemical, and the effect will be whatever scientific changes take place. Now this is an experimental cause and effect. Okay, so there can be observational cause and effect. Like I told you, what example I gave was a observational thing. Okay, misbehavior of student, principal getting angry. Okay, or what other examples can we give of cause and effect? Maybe with time, when it crosses my mind, I shall give you more example. Thus the causal research will find all causes for the success or failure of a plan. Okay, this is a study of the market which beforehand you do before launching the product, the above example which is there. Fine. So hence a causal research objective incorporates various elements of cause and effect in the marketing questionnaire. You don't have to get, if some of you all are interested in the marketing part, the management part, and in that marketing strategies. Okay, products like, I mean, questions like these can be used, objectives like these can be used, and researches like these can be used. Okay, but it becomes more of a part of the say if it is a food product also, it will be more, it will go more towards management. Okay, it will not be, you will say, but ma'am, it's a food product. Okay, fine, but it's you're talking about the marketing for that particular food product. So that will no longer be food production, that will become, I'm giving an example so as to how you have to select your department also. Okay, so it will become, so you talk about sales, you talk about marketing, it goes into the management side. Okay, so three objectives. Fine. Exploratory, descriptive, and cause and effect. Causal. Fine. Let's move further. How do we take questions at the end, or how do you want any questions so far? At the end, yeah. Okay. Now, how to define a good research objective? Yeah. Like I would say in everything, I would say be as clear as possible. A simple first thing from me, other than the theory. Okay, be it objective, be it your problem statement, be it your questionnaire, be it your hypothesis. Keep it keep it as less complicated as possible. Even the opposite person will understand when he has to give an answer to it. Okay, yeah. So objective should be presented briefly and concisely. Now brief objective should be brief, but what I'm trying to say, that in-depth know-how should come from that. You can't have a 7-8 line objective has to be a 2 line or 3 line maximum. Okay, they should be presented in a logical sequence. Now when I give you all an example, okay, like let's give you an example. Let's take say variety of tea concoctions available in South Mumbai, or say in Nepean Sea Road. Let us narrow it down that much. So you want to know what all kind of teas are available. Masala tea is there, Irani chai is there, lemon tea is there. You know, in that area, who all are selling teas and of what all kind. Now, for that research, you want to add one of the objectives as kind of tea available, studying kind of tea available, okay, in so and so. It can be, it has to be an objective also. But say you want to start before that and you want to say, I would like to know the kind of tea otherwise available in the market, not necessarily South Mumbai. So it would be kind of teas available in, say, South Mumbai, or say India. Okay, so you're doing a little research. You can always do that. You can always go back, do a research, and then now you will not say your objective won't be the first objective sequence I'm talking about. The first objective would be, okay, variety of tea preparations, concoctions, let's say preparations available in, okay, Nepean Sea Road, outlets in Nepean Sea Road. Fine. And then you will say, okay, variety of tea preparations in India. No, that's wrong. You will have to say the different variety of tea preparations available in India, and then you will come down and say the different tea preparations available, okay, in the outlets of Nepean Sea Road, those selling tea. Okay, objectives can be framed, huh? Like if you heard me now, I changed the objective, the same objective thrice, and I made it more, okay, elaborate, in the sense wordings I'm talking about. Fine. So a logical sequence. Now I don't know how many staff are attending, but this is what I did. Okay, when students gave a topic to the staff and staff gave it to me, okay, the fine tuning, the most important thing, one of the most important thing was I fine tuned the objective, I changed the words, I changed the problem statement words. Last year seniors, you can ask, when it went back to them, it went back in a different package, the same material in a different packaging, because the most important thing with research is words and sequencing. Okay, fine. So you have to have a correct sequence. I hope I'm clear on that. Yeah, they should be realistic. Example, achieved within the expected time frame, achieved within the available resources, and that is where comes the term limitations. Okay, there is a subtopic in the last unit which says limitations. Yeah, so you have to always have limitations. So, and hence, keeping the limitations in mind, you should have realistic objectives, okay, which can be fulfilled. Yeah, it should not be very vague, open ended. Over here it has to be a close ended objective. Okay, I'm not talking about a questionnaire, I'm talking about the objective. You should be able to frame the objective in such a manner that you, okay, this is what I'm trying to say, I mean business here, and that's it. Fine. So the objective has to be very, very realistic, keeping limitations in mind of resources. It can be financial resources, it can be time frame resource. Okay, like an example, if you all are doing a research in 3 months time and I did it in 3 years time, okay, it's a different thing. I did it took 6 years, but say 3 years was the time span given to me by the university. Okay, that is the limitation. So I had to think about not taking, I took a lot of samples. Okay, my guide told me to do so, I did so, and then she and he, both of us, she and me, realized that, oh my god, we should have, but fine, it happened, it happened. Okay, it was accepted because it was good work, fine, be it. Okay, but you have to keep the resources in mind, be it money, be it time frame, and hence what is university is expecting from you is something like a research thesis, only what doctorates do, but say around 25% of it, because you can't do that 100% at your age group with your limitations. Okay, there are two types of research objectives, primary and secondary. Research objectives describe what the researchers wants to achieve from the research study, and they are formulated after the research problem is finalized. Their purpose is to find answers to the research problem. Now, primary and secondary, when we do what is primary data and secondary data, it will fall in place. Okay, if you want me to give you a gist now, primary is something which you are finding out. It is new, nobody else has done, so it's your work. Secondary is you are taking the data from someone else's work. Okay, like you are stating that in marketing strategy for tourism in Maharashtra, okay, author Dr. Rukshana Billimoria says so and so. You cannot use my words, you have to read that and you have to make your own crux and say, but you have to give me the credit that you have taken it from my, okay, that's literature review. Fine. Now that is where you have to give that credit. And what was I trying to say? Some students, I go off like this, sometimes, from where to where to where. Please bear with me. So what did I want to say? Any one of you all can tell me what did I want to say when I was giving this example? Anyone? Let's see how attentive you all are. I've lost track. Put me back on track. Come on. No one? That's sad. Is it that I am talking to the walls? First of all, I don't like this online teaching. honestly speaking. uh, I hope I am making, see, my the whole aim is to not to compulsorily make you all sit for a class, or because the university has said we have to do it. That is there, I will not deny that, but that is not the, that is must be 20% of the objective or aim. The main aim is, I always believe, as an administrator and an academician, more than an administrator, to do justice to what has been told to us to do. Okay, to the syllabi, or to giving your knowledge, parting knowledge with you all, and what you all need to know, you all need to know. That is the whole aim. Okay, please try and make the maximum out of it. Only then will all this activity of ours will be fruitful. Let me tell you, I'm sorry I'm comparing over here, but there are institutes who are not doing any of this. Okay, and making do with anything and everything. We don't believe in that in Anjuman. Fine. So please, students, make the maximum out of it. Any knowledge gained does not go waste, and believe me, it's a feather in my cap, so I'm not complaining, but I have put in a lot of efforts to make these notes for you. I've not picked it up from anywhere. Okay, obviously I've picked it up from secondary data only, from the sources, from internet, from books, but picking up the easiest thing, putting it in my words, making it easy for you, takes a lot of efforts. Okay, it's okay if my work is not worthwhile, but imagine your loss. Yeah, I'm doing my duty, but make the maximum out of it. That is where you will do your, fulfill your duties and responsibilities as a student. Okay, after that it's your choice. I cannot force anybody ever, nobody can really. Okay, we can only part knowledge. It is for you all to how much you will absorb it. Yeah, going on to motivation in research. Fine. In the classroom setting, students' motivation refers to the degree to which a student puts effort in and focuses on learning in order to achieve successful outcomes. Excellent. I just spoke about this before the slide, isn't it? Yeah. How much I'm motivating you all. Now, the whole idea for me to take this up was that if it's easy, okay, you get more motivated to do a decent research at least, and just not do it for the sake of doing it. You will feel nice, you will feel proud. While I was doing my thesis, I was crying. I was, because I have these problems, arthritis and physical, and this mouse and computers, and then everything I do just goes away because I didn't save it, and so many problems. But once it was all done and I understood things in a much more better manner, I was like, oh wow, it was all worth it. Okay, so that is what you have to get motivated. Yeah, so there is a reason for motivations in research is would be that put efforts and focus on the learning in order to achieve successful outcomes. What makes people to undertake research? This is a question of fundamental importance. Now, in your case, I would say a compulsion because your curriculum calls for it. Okay, but there are people who do research for the sake of doing research because they have an inclination towards doing research, an inclination towards discovering new things, inclination towards getting solution to the same old thing, inclination towards experimentation, and that is how the world has gone ahead, isn't it? Yeah. Innovations, again, one has to invent or come or discover and come to an innovation. Okay, so all these are research methodologies. In the sense, all these are motivations for research. Yeah, the possible motive for doing research may be either one or more of the following: desire to get a research degree along with its consequential benefits. Now, if you ask me, then it would be that, you know, let's take it like that, that it is mandatory for a principal to be have a doctorate degree if you want an approval from the University of Mumbai. It's a different thing that I always wanted to do research, but yes, I wanted to do research in something very different, indigenous food of India, but I didn't get a guide, I didn't get a university, and I was pushed to do this because there came a time where I said it's 10 years now and I'm not getting anybody from my choice of topic. Let's see where I get a guide. Okay, and that is how it all happened when I went into tourism. Yeah, so it is that it has to have a reason. Okay, I always wanted to do research. My inclination was different, my topic, my passion was different, but there came a time where I said no. Okay, as a principal it's required also, plus it's high time, I want a doctorate degree. Yeah, this is the time, I'll have to do it. Fine, I did it. So I had a reason. say approval from the University of Mumbai. Let's give that as an example. Okay. So desire to face the challenges in solving the unsolved problems, that is concern over practical problems, initiates research. Okay, so this also initiates research. Like if you ask me, for now also for me, the challenge is to find out, the Mohenjo-daro and the Harappan cuisine, and how our ancestors, okay, came up with combination of cereals and pulses and all the preparations, and how much science they knew for which they made certain combinations. Okay, that was my line of interest. And then how did it evolve with all the spices and the exposure from which country at what era, and how did our cuisine develop and evolve, and the influence and all that. That was more of a historical thing with food. So there has to be a desire, there has to be a motivation. Okay, so desire to get intellectual joy of doing something creative, right? Okay, so I have an inclination towards doing research, towards finding out new facts. Okay, obviously intellect, they always say, if you do not want to age, forget physical aging, the mental aging I'm talking about. Physically you will age, nobody is immortal. Okay, is to keep your intelligent going, in the sense, go on using it, otherwise wo junk kha jayega bolte hain na, it will rust. Okay, like while doing this only I learned so many new things. Fine. While making a PPT on research for the students of 18 years old, okay, coming down to their level, wow, I used my intellectual quotient. I'm keeping going. Okay, desire to be of service to the society. Fine. So if I would have found out more details about how the cuisine originated, and more scientific details of the combination food science part of it, and the nourishment and the nutrition, some kind of service to the society, in the sense that, say, why today's cuisine is not very healthy. Okay, and what they used to do before, and they used to be healthy. So let's start utilizing those methodologies again. Fine. Certain researches are very crucial for a social kind of an upbringing. Okay, in the sense, to get the society over and above, certain researches are done. So there are many causes and motivations for research. Desire to get respectability, like say principal, I'm a principal, so I was called Mrs. Rukshana Billimoria. Okay, the university say approved my profession designation, so I'm Professor Rukshana. I'm giving you an example. Okay, Professor Rukshana, Professor, they say Mrs. in brackets Rukshana Billimoria. Then it was like doctor. Okay, wow, I've got a doctorate degree, now I'll be called a doctor. So doctor, if I'm what do you say, approved as a professor also, so Professor Mrs. Rukshana Billimoria, you get a respectability because you've got an author designation to it. Okay, so there are many motivations to research. Many more factors, such as directives of governments, a compulsion. Okay, if you're at a certain position, you will have to do research. Start working on it. That can be a reason. Employment condition. Okay, say if you want a principal's post, you will have to be. I'm giving you easy examples. Okay, doctorate. So okay, I have to keep my job going, I better do doctorate because I want my principal's position. Curiosity about new things. I gave you an example of the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro cuisine. Desire to understand cause and relationship. Okay, okay, the same cuisine when they had, they were healthier. So cause and relation. So what was the kind of cuisine they had where the effect was health? Okay, a better health, say. Fine. Social thinking and awakening. There are many psychosomatic kind of researches where the society benefits from it. Okay, even social thinking, say feminism or feministic, sorry. Okay, where you want the society to develop, giving equal importance to all the genders. Okay, we know that there are many other genders which are there other than the so-called common genders. So you want that same social acceptance. Research can be on anything. Okay, and the like may as well motivate or at times compel. So it all depends on the time, the phase. Now we would never think of though our society had maternal inclinations. Okay, even in India. Now what is maternal and paternal? I hope that much you'll know. Maternal is mother's side, so-called. Easy as this. Paternal is father's side. So men and women. Okay, There are certain sects of SCCTS, okay, of Kerala, where there is matriarchal family. That means the uh, the brother, say my brother gets married and goes to his wife's house, and my husband comes to my house. That is matriarchal. Okay. Say one wants to study that. Now there was a time the society did not accept something like this. Then there came a time when the matriarchal society. So these are social researches. Okay. So that is about motivation. Why should one do research, or why should one get motivated, okay, to do research? There are many reasons for doing so. I hope so far so good. Now, this is what I'm saying. Believe me, other than this, there is ethnographical research, there is historical research, many researches. I mean, the new website you open and you'll get, oh my God, two more added. So this is what I felt you need to know. Okay, fine. And this makes sense for you all. Experimental, I don't know. Now we are in a field where you can do an experiment, but I think so 3 months would be too less to do an experimental research. But I kept it so that, you know, it's one of the easy, kinds of research to explain at least. Okay, so fine. See, the more you know, the better for you. But I picked up which are important, which your syllabus says, and other than that a little, so that you know a fair idea of what research is all about. Okay, so there is theoretical, there is applied, there is exploratory, there is descriptive, qualitative, quantitative, and experimental. Let's see what is theoretical research. Theoretical research is explanatory. Okay, I would say an essay writing would be a theoretical research. A very elaborate essay writing. Okay, fine. And leads to the advancement of knowledge for knowledge's sake. There is no application. Okay, variety of teas, a study. Available or tea variety growing in India, a study. It's theory. It's theoretical research. It is not an applied research. Okay. A theoretical research is the one which is hypothetical. Unlike to the theoretical one, empirical research is based on observed and measured phenomena and develops knowledge from real experience rather than from theory. So all the applied research, okay, have to have a conclusion and a solution. Okay, over here the conclusion will be, according to my secondary study, I found out these are the kind of number of teas growing in India. Okay, finish. There is no application of it. Fine. So you have just done a secondary research and you have come to, so this is theoretical research. Applied research. This is what we are interested in. Okay, that's why I've given a detailed explanation of the same. Applied research is for development purpose and seeks to solve a practical problem. Okay, so if you see, the theoretical research can never have a problem statement. Problem statement like to study the kind of tree growing in India. Really, it's not a problem statement. Okay, fine. I hope all the professors, those who are attending, it makes sense now. There are many students who did theoretical research last time. But believe me, theoretical research does not have any standing. It just becomes an essay writing of say 40, 50, 80 pages. Okay. While you write in your exams, you'll write a précis of the same for 1 page. That you are doing it in 80 page. Okay. But what we are looking at is applied research. Okay. Applied research refers to scientific study and research that seeks to solve practical problems. Applied research is used to find solutions to everyday problems, cure illnesses, develop innovative technologies rather than to acquire knowledge for knowledge's sake. For example, applied researchers may investigate ways to improve agricultural crop production, treat a cure. I've taken very general examples, okay? Fine. Treat or cure a specific disease. Improve the energy efficiency of homes, offices, or modes of transport. The marketing research, okay? The market-based research, the sales-based research, okay? kind of acceptance of a product, say acceptance of a new product you have launched, maybe you have an innovation, okay, of a product, like when I don't know how many of you all have heard rhubarb, okay, that was this thing of rumali roti and kebab. Okay, so when kebab goes in rumali roti, it is rhubarb. Now somebody must have thought of it, researched on it. Okay, now that is applied research, because after doing the research, it was applied in the market and they started selling it. Okay, fine. In short, applied research tackles a real world question and attempts to solve a problem, whereas theoretical research attempts to gather knowledge about a phenomenon or idea whose conclusion may not have any immediate real world application. Okay, fine. So there is no application of the conclusion. The conclusion will be these are the types of teas available in the, okay, in India, okay, or grown in India. I'm narrowing down, okay. Many are available, but these many are grown in India. This is theoretical, okay, fine. But application would be a market study, okay, fine, of the acceptance of kind of teas, or three teas they will name: lemon tea, Irani tea, say, and your regular masala, Indian masala tea in the market. Now that would be an applied research. Fine. Students, what we are looking at is applied research. Fine. Not theoretical research. There will be some students who will have challenges where maybe we'll accept, but try and have an applied research as a topic. This is self-explanatory. I hope it makes sense. Okay. What is exploratory research? Is a type of research conducted for a problem that has not been clearly defined. You are still exploring. You can sometime change the problem also in between, but change means not completely change 360 degree or 180 degree. You can change the you can fine tune it. You can change the wordings a little, because you're still exploring the whatever you are in the market, or whatever you are exploring, you're still in the exploration process, and hence you don't have any precise guaranteed problem, but you have a vague problem which you are exploring, and then you will say bang on, now this is what it is, this is what I'm going to explore. So exploratory research helps determine the best research design, data collection method, and selection of subjects. Okay, simply because you do a lot of thorough exploring before you know kind of say, okay, this is what it is now. Fine. The result of exploratory research are not usually useful for decision making by themselves, but they can provide significant insight into a given situation. Exploratory research is not typically generalizable to the population at large. Exploratory research can be quite informal, relying on secondary research such as reviewing available literature or data, or qualitative approaches such as informal discussion, consumers, employees, management, competitors, and more formal approaches through in-depth interviews, focus groups, projective methods, case studies, or pilot studies. Okay, so you are exploring. Fine. Here the application is a little limited. Okay, so you're not getting a bang on explanation. You are still, as I told you, your problem statement itself you are still exploring. So it is so very vague exploratory. Sometimes if your problem statement is already decided, the problem statement itself is an exploratory problem statement. Okay, I would say after theoretical research will come exploratory research, which will give you, so theory is for the sake of theory, then okay, you explore. Okay, so further in that tea you would want to explore, as I told you, okay, that those particular trees grown in India, how are they used in India, maybe. Fine. So you are exploring. Okay, but now that exploration has to be that nobody has done that in the past. Okay, then it is research. Please keep that in mind. You can't have something which is already existing and then you call it an exploratory research. No, that will become a theoretical research. Okay, so nobody has done it. Primary, as a research has to have some amount of primary data. I would say every research should have a questionnaire. Only then it is a real research. Otherwise, as I told you, it's simply essay writing. Okay. The questionnaires can be unstructured, the questionnaires can be open-ended, they can be descriptive, no worry. But there has to be some kind of questionnaire involved. And when it's questionnaire, you are making the questionnaire and hence you are the source, so it's primary data. Secondary data, as I told you, you've collected from some other resources. We saw descriptive objective. Let us see descriptive research. Refers to research that provides an accurate portrayal of characteristics of a particular individual, situation or group. It describes. Descriptive, it describes. Okay. Characteristics of Rukshana. Okay. She's impulsive or she's hyper or she gets angry. As fast as she gets angry, she cools down even faster than that. Okay. Descriptive, you are describing Rukshana. Okay. These studies are a means of discovering new meanings, describing what exists, determining the frequency, how frequent does she get angry, okay, with which something occurs, and categorizing the information. So after collecting all that, okay, you say you observe me for 10 days, 15 days, and then you categorize it and then you document and you say, okay, these are the characteristics, this was my research. Yeah, fine. So it's describing, I hope you understand. Okay, in short, it is just describing further something. Again, nobody should have done that in the past, or if they have done it, it is not documented anywhere. See, research, the most important thing is documentation. And documentation is that when, say, 200 students last year did research and it's put in a soft copy, it is put in a PDF, it is submitted to the institute, submitted to the university, it is documented that this particular topic is done. So students, do not take your last year student study topics. This has also come to my ears that हमारे seniors है ना, sorry, seniors से guidance लो, मदद लो, लेकिन topic और content same नहीं चलेगा. We are there sitting over here, the externals are there, it will become null and void and you will fail. That's plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism is a non-bailable, I told you, jail. Okay, anybody copying anybody else's content and using it on their name, because you will be writing, or there will be a certificate, you will be writing what do you say, acknowledgement, you will be writing I'm not getting the words here. What is that? What do you say when you say that it is your work and not? No, I'll tell you what it is. Declaration. This happens with me. I do not get the words at the right time. So you are declaring that it's my work and nobody else's. After which, okay, if it's found out, which will be found out like this, digital का ज़माना है, ठीक है, कि आपने कहीं से काम चोरी करके अपने नाम पे डाला है, it is not done. Over here at this level, you will not get jailed. Doctorate level, people get jailed, okay? Fine. But your level, you will fail. Do not do that, please. Okay? In short, descriptive research deals with everything that can be studied which has an impact on the lives of the people it deals with. For example, finding the most frequent disease that affects the children of a town. The reader of the research will know what to do to prevent that disease, thus more people will live a healthy life. So, see, descriptive research is also an applied research. It's not a theoretical research. But what I said is, after theory, if something comes, it is descriptive because you describe. In theoretical, you only and describe. Over here, do you describe with a motive of application also. Okay? But it is more of a descriptive, qualitative research. Yeah? Qualitative is more open-ended questions, more descriptive, subjective answers have to come from the question. Okay, while quantitative is more numericals are used. Okay, fine. Numericals are used in the sense that descriptive, in descriptive also you can have agree, strongly agree, disagree. There is nothing wrong in that, but there is description in it. Okay, the question is very descriptive, while in quantitative it is more of how many. Okay, fine. That is what the difference is. Qualitative research, now coming to, now if you ask me, qualitative and quantitative are again kinds of research, but descriptive research is a research which is a qualitative research. You get me? Yeah. So if you ask me how you have primary data and secondary data, so primary research and secondary research, so theoretical and applied, the same way it is qualitative research and quantitative research, and then it is descriptive, exploratory, historical, experimental. But what are they using, which qualitative? So if you ask me types of research, it should be qualitative and quantitative, and then the other types, in which one uses qualitative or quantitative. Yeah. So qualitative research is research dealing with phenomena that are difficult or impossible to quantify mathematically, such as beliefs, meanings, attributes, and symbols. Now it makes more sense. Okay, you cannot quantify a meaning of a thing, you cannot quantify characteristics, you cannot quantify attributes, okay, of a person. Yeah, it is more abstract, it is more vague, and hence it is more descriptive and hence qualitative. Okay. Qualitative researchers aim to gather an in-depth understanding of human behavior and the reason that governs such behavior. The qualitative methods investigates the why and how of decision making, not just what, where and when. So what, where and when becomes quantitative, and qualitative is why, or qualitative is the how much, how the qualitative method investigates the why and how, sorry. Yeah. And quantitative is when, where. So it is figures. Okay. More characteristics based. It can be characteristics of tea also. It does not have to be human behavior only. In our food also there can be. There can be spending patterns, okay, of a particular age group, okay, on fast food. It can be a qualitative study. Okay. If it goes to how much spending, okay, fine, then it will become quantitative study. बहुत पेचीदा है, it is very close, a very thin line. Okay, fine, but generally when you observe something and you describe it, it becomes qualitative research. Quantitative research refers to the systematic, empirical, observational investigation of any phenomena via statistics. Now mind you all, the observation word is there, but via empirical word is there. Empirical word, empirical comes in qualitative also and descriptive also, because it's observation based. Empirical means observation, but systematic observation investigation via statistical, mathematical, computational techniques. Over here chi-square, ANOVA, Likert scale are a must. Not necessary use it in qualitative. Qualitative does not have to have any test or statistics involved. It's a different kind of analysis, interpretation analysis. But in quantitative, you have to have a computational technique. Okay. So I think so. Just give me a break, please, darlings. I want to drink a sip of water and just see, no, because then there'll be problems here. Hello. हाँ बोला. Okay, we come back. The objective of quantitative research is to develop and employ mathematical models, theories, or hypotheses pertaining to phenomenons, okay, or phenomena. Quantitative research allows the researcher to measure and analyze data. The researcher is more objective about the findings of the research. Quantitative research can be used to test hypotheses and experiments because of its ability to measure data using statistics. Simple differentiation, quantitative research has to have, okay, something where statistics is used. Okay, when you use pie charts, When you use line graphs, not necessary it has to be quantitative, let me tell you. It can be qualitative also. In pie charts, you can use qualitative data to put in pie charts. But quantitative, okay, you have to have statistical analysis. This is just for know-how, very simple experimental research, because I felt that in our faculty, okay, of hospitality or food production or F&B, okay, experimental research makes sense, yeah. But as I told you, for you all 3 months would be too little to experiment scientifically something, say a mocktail concoction also, okay. Or if you are confident of doing, taking 2-3 mocktails and making it and making a research on that 80-100 page worth, studying literature review, and then, I mean, why not? It's a very good idea if somebody wants to do it. And that's why I kept this for explanation. The simplest experimental design includes 2 variables and 2 groups of participants. The 2 variables are independent versus dependent variable. Okay. Now here there are 2 more things to this experimental. Experimental be just for the sake of experimenting, where I say that something new is innovated. Not necessary it has to be the 2 variable based experiment. Okay. These are more psychological, more social experiments when you talk about independent and dependent variable. Okay, is the, so one particular is a predictable variable where the dv is the, okay, let's not get into this. I mistook the whole thing. When we are talking about experiment, see here it is what, you know, experimental procedure, what they're talking about. Say we will not take human beings. Okay, let's take rodents. Okay, you all know a lot of experimentation is done on rodents. So say one particular rodent, okay, is exposed to a certain environment and is not injected with any chemicals, and the other is rodent is, you know, and is injected. So independent dependent variable. Okay, and then they observe what's happening to them. Okay, and then decide that fine, or then say, example, both are kind of infected with COVID, okay, and one is not given the vaccine, the other is given the vaccine, and they see the changes. This is where the experimental research. So independent, dependent, let's not get into this. What I wanted to tell you all through this is simple, that you can do experimental research, but again, it cannot be a 2-3 page, okay, outcome. It has to be a minimum 80 page outcome. So if you are confident of doing that in this much time, this comes, or then yours would be more exploratory, more descriptive. And if you want to do quantitative, okay, you all have to take a call on that. Fine. Like if you want to go into you know, how many numbers, numericals, and test. The best part, as I told you all, is now you all have these Google forms to which you make your questionnaire, and the Google form directly, I mean, when it's fed into the system, it gives you the outcome also. So you all are lucky enough to get that. So do your best. Okay, I would say. Let's not get into experimental. I think so. This would be too much. Yeah, change of mind. Let's not get into that. Do we continue? How many things are remaining? 1.8 now. I think so. We can. This is not too much, or will it be too much for the first class? Let's finish the research. Can some of you all give a feedback, a thumbs up, or you all want to stop because we started late? Can we continue till 2? Come on, students. No response? No response is a positive response. Okay, let's finish this. Nothing much remaining. Most of the important things we have covered. Okay, research approaches. Now see, I would say all these other things are just for theoretical sake. You need not know so much, but it's okay because it's there in the unit. I will go through it. Okay, it is the pursuit of truth with help of study, observation, comparison, and experiment. In short, the search for knowledge through objective and systematic method of finding solution to a problem is research. The systematic approach concerning generalization and the formulation of a theory is also research. Okay, why I told you that this is just theories, because it's a repetition of all what we have spoken. Time and again, they're just trying to tell you, okay, what the research is all about. And hence, obviously, when there is an approach, there will be something, right? Okay, so what is the research approach all about? Solution to a problem, if you ask me, where application is concerned, and where theoretical is concerned is gaining knowledge. That's it. Okay. As such, the term research refers to the systematic method consisting of, okay, enunciating the problems in the sense that you come out with the problem, okay, the gap, formulating a hypothesis, collecting facts or data, analyzing the facts, okay, reaching a certain conclusion either in the form of solutions towards the concerned problem or in certain generalization for some theoretical formulation. Okay, so again, what is the motive of doing research? Repetition. There's a lot of repetition. Okay, the three common approaches to conducting research is quantitative, qualitative, and now this is what I told you. Okay, that if you ask me the types of research, here they are saying approaches, but if you ask me, the actual two types of researches would be quantitative and qualitative. Okay, there is a mixed method also, where you have, like, you have open-ended questions also, and you have statistical Likert scale or ANOVA scale based questions also. That is also allowed. Okay, so it's a combination of description, and it's a combination of, so that is qualitative and quantitative also, say in exploratory or in experimental. Okay, and there is statistical analysis also used, and hence it's a mixed method. Okay, so this is basically in short the research approach. Okay, what it is all about. Significance of research: obviously there has to be a purpose, there has to be an application, there has to be a solution which we are looking for. So the main purpose of research is to inform action, to prove a theory, contribute to developing knowledge in a field of study. A detailed research enables students build critical thinking skills, effective analytical research. Believe me, when I used to hear PhD, I was like, God bless my stars. I'm a chef by profession. I used to love baking and confectionery, and then somebody realized I'm an excellent Indian cuisine kind of I have a very strong hold on it, and then that is how I went into Indian cuisine, and then there was no end to that. Okay, so if you ask me, I was like, oh God, research, PhD, and no, I do not have that kind of an IQ. But with time, it was that, okay, fine, it's not a big deal. Okay, it's only perseverance, it is hard work, and it is that thing which keeps you going. Okay, that no, I have to do a research or complete it to the best of my capability and capacity. So it has to be, it will surely give you a lot of critical thinking, and as I told you, a gray matter continues working. So students, do not take it as a burden, take it as a nice challenge where you will learn and you will grow. Okay, research processes. Now here there is a very big gap, I would say. Okay, gap in the sense, I have seen, as I told you, seen researches without hypothesis. Fine, seen researches with one hypothesis, two hypotheses, and 21 hypotheses, 40 hypotheses. And I'm like, my God. And then some of the hypotheses you read and you feel, oh, they are so foolish. But fine, it was accepted and done with. The same way, I have seen researches, okay, with different steps. In the sense, some have some don't have some say these many have to be there, some have the sequencing differently, some have it named differently. Okay, fine. But what best I found is identification of a research problem, the first step. Formulation of hypothesis, that is if you want an hypothesis or you have an hypothesis. Want is to make things easy, don't want. So look out for such a research. Okay, yeah. And have an hypothesis is, does your topic, okay, have an inclination of an hypothesis. If you just can't frame an hypothesis, you can't force an hypothesis in a research. Okay, but a doctorate research generally has to have statistics, has to have hypothesis, has to have minimum, okay, I think so 4 hypotheses if I'm not mistaken, and that is how I had 6 or 8. Now I've forgotten that also. Anyhow, let's go ahead. Review of related literature. Okay, here I would like to tell you, the first step would be, say if you think I want to do it on this, okay, topic, I have to review the literature of that. Like if I want to do indigenous cuisine of India, I have to read all the literature related to that, because as I told you, I cannot repeat any topic. Maybe I'll repeat a topic unknowingly. Okay, so I get my problem statement from my review of literature. So I have to use an extensive review of literature. I have to go through to see that what all others have done on indigenous cuisine and what is remaining, and the gap which is not there is my research problem, and that would be my topic. Okay, so if you ask me a vague idea of what I want to do research on, and the second most thing important is literature review, after which comes my research problem, after which comes my topic, after which comes my topic framing, mind you all, after the problem statement, after which comes the objective, and after which comes the hypothesis and then questionnaire, and obviously from there the thesis moves ahead. Writing an introduction is the first chapter in writing a report or writing a research. But that's for the sake of giving an introduction. But if you say a first step of inclination towards research and getting a topic right is, and a problem statement right, is literature review. Very, very, very important. Okay. The more you read on the topic which you are interested in to find the problem, the more specific your problem will be, the more easy and better your research will be. Preparation of research design, very essential. As I told you, you want it exploratory, you want it historical, experimental, quantitative, qualitative, sampling techniques. What exactly do you want? We will see with time when we go ahead. Actual experimentation, if there is any. Okay. Here I would say it would be interpretation of data also, which is missing. As I told you, different researches calls for different steps. I will be wrong on my part if I generalize and say this is how it is. This is theoretical. Okay, but there are certain chapters which would come in certain researches which will not come in certain researches, but some have to be there, like introduction has to be there, review of literature has to be there. Okay, now formulation of hypothesis is a research process. I am talking simultaneously of chapters also. Okay, but here they say that okay, you have to identify, then you have to formulate, but I would say the identification of research problem comes from the review of related literature. Okay, actual experimentation, results and discussion. Now whenever you have steps, accordingly you have most of the chapters are according to that. Obviously formulation of hypothesis is not a chapter. Let me tell you, identification of research problem is not a chapter. These will go in research methodology. Okay, but generally the framework which you make in the process gives you the chapters also. This is what I am trying to say. Don't get confused. Okay, now experimentation need not be there. For you it will be market study, or it will be observation, or it will be a case study instead of the actual experimentation. And then obviously what the data, what has come out of that, its interpretation, and which gives you results and further discussions, and then formulation of conclusion, and then further suggestions or recommendations. Okay, I hope so far so good. Fine. Now this is one of the examples. Okay, of this is more chapter based, I would say. This is more process based. So define the research topic. Example is impact of age towards usage of digital payment. Okay, yeah, it's more challenging for a certain age group, like if you take mine or maybe senior citizens. Okay, fine. Review of literature, previous research studies, and identify research gap. As I told you, you will have to study on digital payment and which is the age group and what all is there on it. Literature review, secondary data through books, through websites. Okay, fine, through journals, through articles, sometimes newspapers also are useful. Okay, fine. Then comes objective and hypothesis. Now objective and hypothesis many a times are a part of research methodology also. Okay, fine. Objective and hypothesis, there is a significant impact. Now this is an objective. There's a significant impact of age towards use of digital payment app. Fine. So now this can be, there is a significant relationship that becomes the hypothesis of age and usage of digital payment. Hypothesis is generally it comes with a relationship. Okay, a significant relationship, and that is why you get null and alternate. We shall see that later. Research methodology, that is design, sample, questionnaire, qualitative, quantitative, what you want to use. You want to use random sampling. Okay, the strength of the population, say how many you want to, what percentage you want to take from the population for sampling. All that is the research design or research methodology. Data collection of data through respondents, very essential, okay, to get the correct respondents and a good quality answers from those respondents. You have to analyze that data. Here the analysis is statistical analysis and quantitative, descriptive interpretation analysis in this thing. That is how comes the interpretation. Okay, interpretation can be from quantitative also, qualitative also. Fine, but analysis is in qualitative is more of an interpretation also because it's descriptive, while in quantitative analysis is statistical, and then you interpret that in words. Quantitative is a difficult kind of a research but gives you better results and better conclusions and solutions, mind you all. Okay. Example for data collection, we said use respondents. Data analysis would be appropriate statistical or data analysis tools. Okay. Data interpretation here would be drawing inferences from the collected facts, and conclusion and suggestions would be present your findings and conclusions. See, generally conclusions is findings. Okay. How do you conclude your process of collecting the data, analyzing it, interpreting it, and then you come to your findings, which is the conclusion. Okay. Now, what are the criterias of a good research? Just give me a second, students. Just a second, please, darlings. Okay, we have come to an end. Don't worry. Okay, so criteria of good research: purpose should be clearly defined. Obviously, okay. Uh, your purpose of what exactly do you want to find out from your research? Right? Common concepts to be used. Yeah. Uh, Concepts are the most important thing in a research because it can be a characteristical concept, or it can be a formulated concept, or it can be a market concept, market study. So right, so sales, so marketing, it's a concept, right? So you're going towards that particular concept. So common concepts to be used, which are keywords also, that is what it's trying to say. Okay, explain procedures clearly for continuity. Yeah, so one chapter to the other or one process to the other, there has to be a clarity. So explain. Research is all about explanation. Okay, be it exploratory, be it descriptive, be it, you have to be statistical, you have to explain narrations. Okay, and that will carry weightage. Yeah, results should be as objective as possible. Subjective results, as I told you, fall for a lot of, but descriptive will give you subjective results. Okay, but in that also, if you can conclude in an objective manner, it would be always good. In the sense, a 4-liner, a 2-liner. So all this put together, my abstract or summary would be this always. Okay. Report with frankness, very essential. Yeah. You don't have to hide anything. If you've gone wrong, like my 2 questions went wrong, they went wrong. It's okay. There will always be a way around it. Yeah. But if you try to hide something, or you try to, not report it, it will call for more trouble for you. Yeah. So be open about it. It's okay. It's research. It's a research. You can falter, you can fail, but you cannot fail in the entire proposal. You can fail in between here and there and bounce back. That is what I'm trying to say. Acknowledge procedural flaws. Okay, as I just told you, you have gone wrong. It's okay. Okay, let's see how to revive it, how to change it and come back, get it back on track. Fine. Limitations of the study, always say, like I would say, the T thing which I told you is limited to a particular area known as the PNC Road in South Mumbai. Is it that? It's that limited. Okay, or financial limitations can be, geographical limitations, local limitations, all these are limit, time frame limitations. As I had only so much time, I could do only this much research on this particular topic, and hence I am so bang on, narrowed down and specific. Okay, appropriate statistical test of significance. If you are doing anything, okay, then the statistical test, the selection of statistical test also is very essential. Like if I'll give you my example. I was like, my studies call for only, my question and everything called for only Likert scale and chi-square. But there came a time where my guide told, no, these questions which you have used, it calls for ANOVA also, because it's a relationship, it's a comparison. So see, go back. Okay, now I had to do ANOVA also. So correct statistical test should be used. It should be significant. Then your output would be significant. Okay. Reliable outcome measures. Yeah. So see, if it is not reliable, then it won't be worth it. Okay. Then it will be like theoretical, just for the sake of doing your doing. Should not be so. Okay. And justify conclusions with data limitations. As I just told you. Okay. My conclusions are justified to this extent because the data collected is from this particular strength of the population, from this particular locale only. Okay, fine. So these are characteristics of a good research. Research is very flexible, at the same time very specific. Okay, fine. It is you who have to, with time, go on deciding. Okay, there your guides will be there to make the changes also. And change is the only constant, as we say. Accept it, don't be rigid. Okay, because I knew of certain faculty coming to me and saying, students, after your guides, I am the overall guide for everyone. So when they come to me, ma'am, but ye sunne ko taiyar nahi hai, I said, mere se baat karwa. In that case, maybe I can put some more sense. Okay, so be flexible and give that benefit of doubt to your guide, that they know a little more than you know. Maybe not everything, I don't know everything, but I know a little more than the other guides, so I try to put sense. Okay, yeah, we all can falter, we all can go wrong, nobody is perfect. Yeah, accept it and bring about a change. That is what is the need of the hour. Yeah, now that is what it is for the day, for today. This is unit 1. Yeah, I don't think so it was some rocket science. Fine. Yes, if required, you will have to read it twice or thrice to understand. Nobody is going to take your exams on these students, but it is equally important for you to understand, so as to what you want to do. Okay, how you want to go about with your particular topic. Open for questions. And students start thinking of your topics in the sense, not topic, at least for now. I hope the counselors were asked to tell you all to select your departments. Okay, and if you have the topic also in mind, a vague topic or a vague problem statement, most welcome, share it and we will refine it as soon as possible. If somebody wants to do it here, I can give an insight into it. I am being very honest with your student. Maybe sometimes I am not an expert. So sometimes I will say, okay, this I am not getting it. Give me some time. I will think over it and get back. But if I can fine tune it now here, no worries. But otherwise, fine tuning a topic and a problem statement requires time. Okay, for a person like me, because I am not an ace, or I've not started guiding students yet for PhD. Maybe once I do that, I'll be better at things. So no questions. Chat box has any questions? If you all want, you all can put it in the chat box. Okay, I want somebody to tell me how good I was. Come on, rate my lecture. But don't get scared, okay? Just because I was the principal. If you'll find it difficult, then let me know. See, I can make the content easy, but I can't change the content. Okay. So as much as possible, okay, any faculty could, who all are attending? I don't even know that. I have not gone in the logistics. No one. No one. No counselor also. Ah, fantastic. Students, you all are on your own. 114 that also from 270 students. बाकी क्या करेंगे? Anyone would want to express? And we can switch on your mic. Anyone would want to express? Students, I know waitings ka zamana hai, but please concentrate on your research. Okay, this is the second year. We never know how university kind of finds out, I mean, not finds out really, puts restraints or constraints on your externalship or your corrections of your research. Please do not take it lightly. See, I will, irrespective of I talking to the walls or 4 or 14 or 114 or 200, I have to do my job. I will do and finish it off. But the whole idea is that you have to make the maximum out of it. Okay? And if it's not making sense, please let me know. I will stop. I will not waste my energy. But even if 4 are interested, I will teach. It's my duty, obviously. Okay? But see to it that it makes sense. And that is why I want someone at least to tell that I'm not saying I want some praises or something. I just want to know how much sense did this make to you, how much you could grasp today, and if you want any changes in the same. One last call, if anyone. Yeah.
The
Somebody
lecture
speaking.
on research methodology was a new
Darling,
topic.
I can't hear you. 1 second. Huh? I can't hear you. There's no clarity in your voice. 1 second. Who's that?
Ma'am, good afternoon, Kushal here, ma'am.
Yes, Kushal. A little louder because I told you we are having problems and the laptop is not giving me that much amount of a volume. Yeah. Tell me, Kushal.
Ma'am, the lecture on the research methodology was a new topic for us, but was very informative, knowledgeable, and learning.
Okay. So was it easy enough? I tried my level best. So
Yes, ma'am. It was easy. We can understand that.
okay, thank you, Kushal. See, everybody might not be Kushal. Okay, I understand. Some might have understood better than him, some lesser. Okay, yes, human beings are, many are adaptive to new changes, many are not. But as I said, when it's a need of the hour, when you know you need to do it, you have to do it wholeheartedly. That is all I'm saying. Okay, yeah. One of my students might get 50%, one might get 60, one might get 80. I'm not talking about research methodology, otherwise also. I always looked at it कि वारिस की कैपेसिटी कितनी है. अगर उसकी 60 है तो उसको 65-70 का तो मैं लेके जाऊंगी, if not 80. Okay? Fine. So एग्जाम्पल आई एम गिविंग यू. और कुशल की अगर 80 है तो मुझे लगेगा कि भाई तू 85-90 तक तो जा. ये मेरी मेहनत होनी चाहिए और तुम्हारी. सो एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ, बट जरूरी नहीं है कि से श्रीन की उतनी ही हो. श्रीन को शायद 100% आ जाए या किसी और. प्लीज डोंट माइंड, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल्स हियर. ओके, और रुखसाना की 60% ही है, लेकिन वो 60% जो है उसमें तो वो समझी क्या नहीं और कितना. बस वही मोटिव है और कुछ नहीं है. बट इफ यू वांट मी टू गो स्लो और एनी करेक्शंस टू बी मेड, लेट मी नो. डोंट हेजिटेट. ओके, फाइन, एंड आई विल डू सो.
Hello, ma'am.
No. Yeah. Who's this?
Ma'am, I had a question. This is Josh on. Josh.
Yes.
About
Yes,
the
Josh.
topics, ma'am. When will we get topics or topics?
We are not going to give you the topic. I am not going to give you the topic,
it.
darling. You have to give the topic.
Okay.
I am just explaining to you how to select a topic, what it is all about, what is research methodology all about. You have to come up with a topic. You have to come up with a problem statement. Josh, which department are you interested in, beta?
Ma'am, food production.
Okay. So in food production, you must have thought of something.
Yes, ma'am. A bit. Yes.
Yeah. Like what?
Like Indian cuisine.
Indian cuisine. Okay. Okay, students, now let's frame with Josh a problem statement and a topic. Let's try. Okay. I'm not saying that's going to be the ultimate. We can make changes in that, Josh. But let's start. This is a very good example. Let's take it up. Okay. So okay, Josh. Now the faculty selected. Okay, the department in the hospitality faculty selected was food production. In that you narrowed it down to Indian cuisine. Let's narrow it down further, Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
What in Indian cuisine? What attracts you? What do you want to know more?
Maharashtrian cuisine, ma'am.
Maharashtrian cuisine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what in Maharashtrian cuisine?
Goan cuisine.
Maharashtrian cuisine cannot be Goan, darling. You can say Malwani.
Okay,
Goa is another state, bacha.
Yes, ma'am.
So Malwani cuisine?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now what about Malwani cuisine? Students, just see how we are going, okay? This is what research is all about and narrowing down. What in Malwani cuisine, Josh?
Ma'am, there's a combination of Parsi and Maharashtrian cuisine both in Goan cuisine.
Parsi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, darling, Parsis are influenced by Goan cuisine. If you ask me, Parsis have Persian cuisine from Iran is very different. That was their country. For whatever reasons, they came to India. And their cuisine is influenced by others. Okay. Goan cuisine, to what extent by Parsi cuisine? Fine, that's a different thing. I'm a chef by profession and a Parsi also. But fine. So if you want to say you want to study an influence of a certain cuisine on another, or influence of a certain race which conquered, okay, which conquered that particular race or the region, and so then it becomes an influence. So you want to study, say you can say influence of Parsi cuisine on or influence of Parsi cuisine on Goan cuisine. Can be one of the I said, I don't know, topics maybe, or it can be the research problem would be influence of Parsi cuisine on Goan food preparations or recipes or products or cuisine. It's the framing is your thing, okay? And the topic would be either a study, or if you want to do a qualitative descriptive study or an exploratory study. Okay, so you started with knowing things about Indian cuisine, you went on to Maharashtrian cuisine, then you spoke about Goan cuisine, which is not Maharashtrian. See, this is how students, this is what happens. Okay, this is the right way of doing things. This is how we have gone ahead. And then we realize that Josh wants to do something else only. It's an influence of, obviously we are narrowing down. Okay, fine. Of a particular cuisine on a cuisine. Now, if you would have told me he wants to know about Malwani cuisine, I would have said, I'm giving you another example. I would have said that, okay, what about Malwani cuisine? Again, if he's talking about influence, then fine. But if he's talking about, no, I want to know, just a theoretical thing about Malwani cuisine, I would say, okay, that's a very easy thing. You've not done much as a research, something else. So then he would have said availability of Malwani cuisine in Mumbai. I would have said, don't take availability of Malwani cuisine in Mumbai. Mumbai is very vast. Okay. Take specific. Take, say Dadar, or say South Mumbai, or say suburban, or say Navi Mumbai. Narrow down. Okay. Or it can be, the topic can be number of outlets serving, okay, Malwani cuisine in Navi Mumbai and its acceptance. I hope all of you are hearing me. I'm not giving you all the topic. I am explaining. This is, I don't think so. This topic has is there. Okay, one of you all can look into it if you all want. But darlings, make your grey matter work like this. Okay, we are not going to give you all the topics. You all have misunderstood. You all have to give us the topics. I am teaching you all the theory, how to make a topic, how to select, how to frame it, how to go ahead with it. Okay. The topics, the problems will come from you all, like how it just now came from him. Now, what will be the objective of this topic if we are talking about the influence? First objective would be to study the Goan cuisine. I'm giving exams, very simple objectives. We can frame it in a different way. Second would be to study the Parsi cuisine. Just you are seeing the kind of studying you have to do.
Yes.
But it will have to be there. And then the influence of, now the influence can be conquering, geographical, or what? Why the influence? And then to what extent the influence? Now, these are the various objectives I gave you. Now you will have to limit yourself. Okay? No, I want to find out only this much. I will not go beyond that. Again, you are narrowing down in your objectives. Okay, your hypothesis would be there is a significant influence of Parsi cuisine on Goan preparation, food preparation. Okay, null would be there is no significant influence of. Now you will prove that through your primary study. Your secondary study would be the first two objectives. Your third objective will become primary. Primary means you will prepare a questionnaire. You will float it to people who are Goan. Okay, and you will ask them or Parsis and ask them and get a feedback from them and then conclude. Did you understand, Josh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
made sense?
Yes.
Others, it made sense? So start with first which department? I want to do something in management. Management what? General management, statistical, organizational, yeah, okay, whatever it is. Fine, then what do you say? Marketing, sales. Okay, fine. That related to what? Digital marketing, food, F&B, stores, outlets, comparison, CCD and Starbucks, or I don't know what, whatever. Or the new thing in, what is that tea thing? What is that tea wala? Tea outlets have come up, no, 2, 3, Chayos and one more. One traditional, Chayos is a more innovative concept, and then there is traditional tea wala. Anybody can tell me from here? Huh? Yelway or somebody who had started, I think so, they are still on. That you can, compare. Anything and everything can be research, but it should be a significant research and the output should be significant. Okay, students? So start brainstorming and start. You don't have, we are late. Let me tell you all, we started in September, but last time because there was nothing, everything was under lockdown. Okay, it was easier. Now there are too many things happening. Yeah, you're waiting. I have so many commitments. Your waitings are there. Staff members are busy online, offline. We are going crazy with your events. Third year events will be there. Third year trip, your trips, exams, internals, externals, first year's admissions getting late. Students, it's a pretty big challenge for us also. So please hurry up, students. Okay. It's a request. Start your brainstorming. Don't have a laid back attitude. वैसे भी majority of you all are at home not doing anything. Unless until somebody is training or are going on waitings. You are not doing anything much. Okay, so don't waste time and start coming out with topics. Topics you all are not going to give me, students. Okay, if you all want to discuss like this, you all are welcome. But I can't discuss all the topics on this forum. You will have to discuss your topics with your faculty because your faculty will get 15 students, 10 students. Okay, I will try. If you all have topics and you all want to discuss, we will do that at the end of every session. No worries, but limited topics can be taken. Okay, we'll call it a day today. Thank you very much. God bless. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.